Out in the middle of the forest, at the stroke of midnight, a group of furry little animals all gather in a large circle. Now they have a reason for gathering. They're going to play a game. In the light of the towering shadows of the trees, with the moon coming through, they form a tagging game. They're very happy. They've been doing this since the forest existed. Now there was one in particular, one of the players, who was the best of all. This particular one, and no one knows why he had these great skills, was also the kindest and most gentle rabbit of all. Sure, they're rabbits, and they're called tagging rabbits. This one was called Taggart Rabbit, the best of all. Well, he'd line them all up in a circle and say, "Okay, I'm it," but he was always it. And he began to race and to run, and he tripped and he fell, and he bent down one of his ears. Well, Taggart stood up and fluffed up his face a little bit and went down to his hole to get the dust off of his ear. And when he came back, all the other rabbits were quiet. And Taggart looked up and said, "Is something wrong?" The moon drifted down with little squares of light, and each one landed right in Taggart Rabbit's eye, like that. The other rabbits were still quiet. "Come on, guys, let's start playing. I can play. I'm ready." "Okay, I got one ear, but that's okay." The rabbits slowly backed away. "Guys, what's wrong?" His mouth gaped open a little bit, and Taggart Rabbit knew that there was something amiss. "Well, look, I've still got one ear." But Taggart had broken his front tooth as well. "Fellas, listen, this is not funny." Slowly, all the rabbits disappeared into the woods around them. Taggart's whiskers began to droop, and he wiggled his eyelashes, and he understood. He was different. Taggart Rabbit did not fit in. "Okay, fellas, if that's the way it is, that's the way it is." But he was a happy rabbit, so he clapped his paws together and said, "All right, you don't need me? You don't want me? I'll go where somebody does." And off he walked away out into the deep, deep, silent woods. Slowly he picked up his small feet, and each one started to get a little damp because the dew comes at night. His little tummy was rounded and full because before the game he'd eaten a good snack. He wagged his tail and walked into the forest, and as Taggart Rabbit disappeared into the trees around the field of play, for the first time in his life, a tear came out of his eye. And he began to meet the inner children from the trees. Taggart Rabbit found himself in a beautiful meadow inside the giant forest, and he was about to meet inner children from the trees. inner children from the trees. The rabbit's going to meet them. And what you have to do is think of how you can put words in the voices that come from the faces from the forest and the rabbit. Let's look at this one. Let's talk about it. Let's say they say this. Hey there, rabbit, said let's talk about it. You got a tear in your eye. You got a problem? The rabbit looked over and looked up and slowly but surely told the inner child from the trees the whole story about how he got tossed out because he was different. Well, said let's talk about it, you did a good beginning. You've opened up and you've walked into a door to express yourself. That's the beginning. Well, these are some words you could put into the rabbit's mind and into let's talk about it. And then he faded away. Some faces from the forest have a little too much empathy, too much emotion. The next one the rabbit ran into said, I think I'm gonna cry, when the rabbit told him his story. The other one said, I know I'm gonna cry. So what you do now is put new words in the mouth of the rabbit, in I think I'm gonna cry, and in I know I'm gonna cry. Well, here's a thought. The rabbit said, I see you all have pretty rough feelings yourself. Have you been through some tough stuff too? I think I'm going to cry, said, oh, if you only knew, rabbit. You see, I have two sides, and if you look alongside of me, that's my other side behind me. I'm two-sided, and we all have two sides to us, rabbit. I think I'm going to cry, and I know I'm going to cry, are both sides of me. Said the rabbit. I wonder if that's like me too. Well, there was the rabbit in the meadow. Now he was all alone, but down from the sky came the flyer. He looked at the rabbit thucked up, and they began to have, let's say they said this. Hi, rabbit, said the flyer. Hey, I noticed you got one ear up and one ear down. The rabbit thought deeply. This face sees my problem. Well, said the rabbit to the flyer, yeah, I had an accident. And the flyer said, now rabbit, listen to me. You saw me come down from the sky, didn't you? Uh-huh, said the rabbit. Well, now listen, rabbit. To understand where you fit in, you have to rise above yourself and look down. And with that, the flyer flew away. Taggart Rabbit listened to all of the inner children from the trees as they spoke to him, and changes began to occur. Wisdom overshadowed his paws and his feet and his tummy and his tail. And no longer did Taggart Rabbit think of playing tag. His ear filled with the wisdom of the forest, and his eyes reflected the kindness of the inner children from the trees who took time out of their busy, woody lives to tell Taggart Rabbit what he needed to know. And so we go on with the tale of Taggart Rabbit as Taggart Rabbit learns what it means to stand alone. The rabbit matured. He got some shading and a new attitude. About that time, a face from the forest met him who needed some help. "I need help. I need a lift," said the face from the forest. And the rabbit now, instead of being a counselee, became a counselor. "Well, listen, Mr. I Need a Lift. Look at it this way." And the rabbit gave him some words of wisdom to understand and to keep going on. "I need a lift" slowly went away and became this. The rabbit was a cause of the wonderful change, and "I need a lift" became "I got a lift" after hearing the wonderful directions of the rabbit. And when you do your show, you have to pick words that fit a theme. Before you do it, you write it all out and you make your play. In this case, "I got a lift" represents a wonderful change that you can improvise with your Faces from the Forest Theater. Well, folks, your work is cut out for you. Here's a forest face who definitely is looking up to a new horizon, and so is the rabbit. Your job is to draw your cartoon out and then take each face from the forest. You can choose them from a wonderful, wonderful array from the Inner Children from the Trees gallery. And then you are off to the races to look up to new horizons and become a performer. Suddenly, in Taggart's paw, a small circle arose. At first it was rather light, then it got darker, and it burst into a beautiful little flower. All of the Inner Children from the Trees brought Taggart Rabbit back to the field of play, and he proudly held his flower of recognition and independence. And to this day, Taggart Rabbit wanders and walks and seeks and plays with the Inner Children from the trees.
All the other Inner Children grew up big and strong, but look at me. I'm so little. Did I do something wrong? Maybe some happy day a wish will come my way. Give me strength and bigness. How I long for that day.
My dearest small friend, please listen close. Of some good sound sense. Right now, you need a dose. Cherish what you have. Use it wisely to be, for it's only a short rental, like a ship in a restless sea, that one day will reach a port where you will be completely free.
Thanks for your help, big friend of mine. I'll keep your words close, and I know that I'll find a safe landing somewhere from the sea. I really want to discover what I was born to be.
you can't see me, but I'm in here. People have these spirits called inner children, and so do trees. I know because I am one of them. Here, I'll show you where I live. I want to tell you something. Trees can't say ouch. These noble and loyal guardians are always at our side. Their products sustain us, and their bodies protect us. Alone they stand, freezing in the cold, shedding leafy tears in the fall, taking hurts from flying or climbing creatures, and even from inconsiderate humans. And they never say a word until here and now.
One quiet, star-filled night, inner children from the forest were charmed out of their trees. Sparkled by the light of twinkling stars above, they commenced to share their priceless poetry to those who would listen.
And forest deep, inner children peek within the barky skins of trees, and on occasion, with kind persuasion, they wake from thoughtful, dreamy sleep. Shrouds of shadows, curtains of green, pillars of barky trees that dream. We sow our treasures on the forest floor, keeping closed our private doors. Is there a key? Yes, we are the keys.
Hello, do you wonder why we have these mirrored eyes? Well, I will tell you what power within them quietly lies. But I have to tell you with a question. The deep truth upon which they rest, simply stated, is this. Can you see yourself in me? Aren't we all in the same family? Think about it. Now listen to our next inner child from the forest.
You know, family is a relative term, kind of like a wiggly worm that rubs its tummy along the ground, gently searching till it's found. Deep and rich, refreshing soil. Now, no longer does it toil, seeking pockets on the earth, 'cause it's found its final worth.
So, what am I? I am not a what. I am a when. When a bird first tries its wings, when a minstrel softly sings, when an artist crafts a gleam, when a writer pens a dream. I am the moment when you know how fragile is the time you hold. As the hurt reach out to you, seeking birth, a reflection new. I am a mirror for the weak. My life is linked to the meek. Touching them, you will merit your earthly peace to inherit.
No matter the medium one uses, whether one builds or governs or gleans, is knowing the work one produces will never be noted or loved or seen. Inner forces compelling drive one's creation on, taking footsteps in a funeral forest, being a lost and innocent fawn. Leaving tracks of a fruitless searcher while seeking without a clue why this trek must be finished, why are one's goals diminished, chasing the ghosts of a fool.
One day into my head did fly a winged, spotted buttered spy. It perched upon my weary bones, bringing peace and joy I've never known. Why, I'm like a butterfly. Sure, I'm as fragile as a butterfly, lovely as a rose, with softly sleeping mothers, even as I doze, curled up in a wonder. Our hope is always there, listening to our winging voices, a guiding sound so fair. 'Cause bridges have their garters, and branches have their trees, like counters needing elbows. You can lean on me.
Want to hear our hamster jokes? Yes! Okay, here are some we made up. What do you call a hamster with a wooden leg? A pigster. What do you call a hamster that hitchhikes? A thumbster. That's corny. What do you call a hamster with a runny nose? A dripster. Okay, but we'll have to make up some as we go along. Okay. What do you call a sleepy hamster? A dreamster.
Yeah.
What do you call a hamster that eats bananas? A peelster. That's all we have for now. Do you want us to come back? Yes. Okay, but we have to go think up some more. Bye.
Wait, I've got one. What do you call a giant hamster? A bigster.